Wow, I tell you, lots has changed in the pharmacy profession, just in a very short 14, 15, 20 years if you've been here, and how things are accelerating to really empower and transform our profession. And inside that profession, one of the sweet spots for pharmacy, it's almost the litmus test for what works for patients and what might not, and in business changes and business growth is the realm of the community pharmacy owner, the independent community pharmacy owner. Pharmacy Podcast Network really prides itself in bringing together some of the subject matter expertise that's necessary to empower community pharmacy and how help community pharmacy owners and business models insert other things, whether that be pharmacogenomics testing or maybe using a specific supplement, talking about like organizations like Diversify RX, to empower community pharmacies with new ideas. When we get together with people that are thinking the same way, and we bring in experts to add on to building value out of community pharmacy, one of the champions, the reason that Debbie and her team at Happier at Home are members of the Pharmacy Podcast Network, it's more than podcasting people. This is about bringing together people that know how to grow your independent community pharmacy business. And the element of home care is exploding, and we have the right person in guiding us. Debbie, this is our fourth episode of Happier at Home PRN. I'm excited to be back with you.
I'm so excited to be here too. And we actually just had a great showing for the multiple locations conference for the NCPA. Made a lot of connections, and there's a lot of buzz about home care and expanding into home-based services. So I think it just sets us up for a great conference in October that I'll be going to for the annual conference for NCPA as well. So just thinking about the brilliant minds that are out there looking for ways to diversify their sources of revenue, it's exciting to me. And pharmacy owners are changing the way they're administering their business, and it's all for the better of the community. So it's excellent.
You know, Debbie, I couldn't scale this publication when I really started to making changes when I went full time in 2019. I quickly learned that the only way to grow my clients' needs, my clients' business as a gong, someone out there on social media, somewhere out there through podcasting and through pushing the messages that are brought to us, the network that we're building. That's why I was so excited meeting you at the NCPA back years ago. But in order for you to scale, you have to have people on your team that understand the challenges of community pharmacy, that you can hand the baton off to somebody on your team that you can trust to take the same purity of the brand of what you believe in building home care services through community pharmacy. And if I didn't have that staff, I can't scale. You have that staff. Your right hand, I'd like to introduce to our listeners today. Your right hand through your business is Marie Grego Rodriguez. Marie, it's so happy. We're so happy, happier at home, that is, to have you on the show today. But thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Is that true about being the right hand, though, Debbie?
It is so true. She's incredible, and she's definitely integral to growing our family of happier at home business owners. Marie is not only a friend, she's a colleague. She is brilliant. She's got an excellent business mind. She's personable, and she's dedicated to our brand and to our happier at home business owners. She's always there training them, supporting them, showing them the way. So I'd like to introduce you to Marie Grego Rodriguez, an incredible woman. I'm so happy and lucky to have her on our team.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Marie,
I'm honored to be here.
Marie, you are the VP of Training and Field Operations for Happier at Home. Can you describe to the listeners what you do?
Yes, absolutely. So in that role, I work very closely with Debbie when somebody's in the discovery process of thinking about purchasing a location for Happier at Home in their area. I get on a call with them just to answer questions for them. What is it like being a franchise owner? How is it working with Debbie, the whole process, training, all those sorts of things. So that's the first initial call that I do with potential people that are interested in becoming a franchise owner. After the purchase of Happier at Home is there, Debbie has created a whole initial pre-training activities that we go through to get you from where you are to when you come visit us in Rochester, New York for a 4-day, intensive training where we have a big operating procedures manual, incredible. I mean, I look at this manual that Debbie created from when she started Happier Home in 2007, and it's like everything is in there, every process, how to run payroll, how to hire caregivers. You want to market to an elder law attorney, we have a PowerPoint presentation for that. We have an email how to address that group. So in training, when folks come to Rochester, we go through the whole operating procedures manual, and we do role playing and just everything that you need to know. So when you leave Rochester, you're ready to hit the ground running.
I will admit I'm a little bit anal about my processes, but that's a good thing to making sure that you have everything from start to finish. Everything's in process. So we don't let anyone out there hanging in the wind by themselves. So yeah, Marie really helps them start off great.
Yeah, and Debbie, to piggyback off what you're saying, the processes that you have in place, these are things that work. You follow the process that Debbie's created, from the start. I always say she went through the good, the bad, the ugly, and made changes. You follow the process, you follow the procedures like I have done in that binder, you're going to be successful. There's no reason you won't be. So really making sure that you follow that. Don't try to steer away or try different things. We always like to hear new ideas and entertain those. And if it's something that would build the brand and build the business, absolutely, we implement those. But making sure that, you're having those conversations. And then I always like to add, after training, when people go back to their locations, always on the phone with them at least once or twice a week. How are things going? What are you struggling with? Because what we're doing too is then we're prepping for our next step, which would be about 6 to 8 weeks later when Debbie and I travel together to do a field visit, which is exciting for us. It's exciting for them. We do ribbon cutting, marketing, whatever the location needs.
Yeah. And I do have to clarify, Marie started out as a franchisee. So she's also a business owner of Happier at Home. She owns one of the territories in Rochester, New York. And actually, that's a way to demonstrate that you can have an active full business and be a passive owner of Happier at Home, which the majority, all of our community pharmacy owners that are also Happier at Home business owners are. So I just wanted to clarify that. And, kind of going back to the beginning, Marie, when you were considering starting a Happier at Home business, what are some of the factors that you considered in that decision to move forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I wanted to build a business for myself and wanted to increase the quality of care in our community. Kind of a similar story to Debbie. Unfortunately, lost my mom at a very young age, and seeing the assistance and the help that my dad was getting was just not quality. And so really just had that passion to say, you know what, like it's constantly somebody different, or they're not showing up. My dad has to retrain and those things. And then being able to have that quality help in the home for him to be able to just get out for a little bit. And then when my brother and our spouses were visiting, we were able to really visit and had, her final months with her, spending that time with her, not like I'm cooking, my sister-in-law is doing laundry, my brother's cutting the grass. We were able to spend that. So I wanted to make sure that I gave people that those last days, or even just care in the home. I love being creative, and I wanted to be able to do that, having my own business. And I really love being an expert in the field and in our community. So it was just great, increasing the quality of care, wanting the independents to earn money financially and not have the health insurance aspect of it. So,
Great.
it's been great.
Excellent. Very good. I know you've
Yeah.
done very well.
Yes, thank you.
And, I think one of the things that people start worrying about, especially our pharmacy owners being so busy
Mhm.
with the day to day and changes and maybe new programs that they're developing, is that they become hesitant because they feel that it's going to take too much time, or they're going to be stuck in the office and dealing with the day to day of growing Happier at Home. With your Happier at Home business, your franchise, do you feel that way? Are you stuck in an office running your business day to day? And I know that's somewhat of a leading question because you are my vice president. Um, so I know that you need to have time to do other things, but so are you kind of feeling like you're tied down in an office because of Happier at Home?
No, not at all. So in my location, I am a passive owner. So I have a full-time business support manager who's running the day-to-day and the operations. My role is overseeing um, management and administrative staff, and I also just recently am doing well enough to be able to hire a part-time individual as well that's going to be assisting Donna, my business support manager, in the day-to-day. So my focus is the responsibility for the strategy for my growth in my business and making sure that we have that and to continue growing.
Excellent.
I have a question. I'm wondering, as a pharmacy owner, as you were saying, and you know, you assign someone to learn the processes that Marie that you're going to be teaching them. It's almost like train the trainer, um, and scaling that is going to happen as fast as you can throw resources to it. So, what's your advice, Marie, to get somebody up and running and being an effective person to kind of do as much of launching of the business and managing of the business as possible? Can you also share kind of some of your best stories per se of how fast we're getting someone up and running based on the what's needed to be learned and what has to be executed to do it right?
Absolutely. So definitely, like we spoke about, those pre-training activities, getting all your systems in place, the training videos that we have, um, meeting with business support managers and the owners before they come to Rochester, and having those business support managers at training is an integral part of success to be able to have them there. Not only are we building relationships with them in the beginning and then through training, but also the owners are as well. They're in training, they're learning about each other, they're having somebody there with them, and they're learning together. And then that constant just communication between myself and them, and reaching out, making sure everybody's okay, what kind of questions, and we welcome that. We want that. I get excited when we have questions and we work through things together. And we always say, I learn from them, and they learn from me and all of us. So in making sure that you have that detail oriented, disciplined person that can multitask, has a love and a passion for people, and has that thinking mindset to be able
One of
to
the
run it.
things that Marie and I have talked about is how important it is to get that right person as the business support manager. And I have to say, one of the things that Marie is very good at is helping our new pharmacy owners to choose and to hire, recruiting the correct type of person. They may have a certain profile of someone in mind, but having the experience on both the franchisee side and the training side, she's able to really jump in and be a part of that recruitment. And even I think, Marie, you've interviewed some of the franchisees' business support managers, correct?
All of them, yes. So yeah, so what we do in the beginning is the owners of the Happier Home location, they will do a phone screen with their candidates, and then they will bring them into their pharmacy and do a one-on-one in-person interview, and then they will narrow down maybe 3 or 4, and then the next level interview would be to get on a Zoom call with myself and them and their candidate, and then I go through some questions. To ask those questions to get a feel for them. And it also allows them to ask me questions as well about the role and how Happier Home is ran and those kinds of things. So it's really just a great process. And we've had a lot of success with doing it, though, making sure those steps are complete and hiring really great quality people.
So in your experience, yes, if they are following the procedures and your directives, then they're going to have a quicker startup. What are some of the things that delay the startup or make it more difficult to get the business going?
So I think, like we mentioned, not having that person in line for who you're going to hire for your business support manager. Also, not doing some of the training activities, watching the videos that all of our systems that we have in place, or not making sure that your systems are up and running. That's something that will definitely delay it. Or like we mentioned, not following some of the process and procedures. Like, you really
Yeah.
got to start hiring those things. We're like, well, we did this instead. It's integral that you start that. So again, can't say it enough, just following the process and having the operating procedures binder, which is big, that Debbie created, with you at all times. I look at mine still. I'm, almost, into my 4th year. I always have it. It's right next to me at my desk.
Wondering, does it help to hire someone that's your business support manager that is an LPN or an RN? Does that help?
It really depends on the state. So different states some have licensure, some don't have licensure, but of those that are licensed states, they may have different requirements for your business support manager, and they may be called a different name of that job position. Sometimes you can hire a RN on a per diem basis if licensure requires it, but it does not need to be a nurse. That's where it really helps to have Marie involved in that recruitment. And we help with the entire licensure process if it's needed. But it does help to involve Marie because she knows the qualities of the person that they need in operating that business. So some of those things, Marie could jump in here also, but would be to have someone who can multitask, someone who is able to get in front of a crowd and give a presentation. Certainly people who have been through things similar to what Marie and I have been through with our mothers being ill at a young age, because they have that passion to help people. And when you have inquiry calls coming in for a new business, that comes across when that person can be empathetic to that situation. They've been through it in the past, so they're able to really understand what it feels like to be on the other side of the phone call. But Marie, maybe what are some of the other qualities that you see when you're helping to hire that business support manager?
Yeah, like Debbie mentioned, is the phone calls, taking those inquiries. You're going into people's homes and doing assessments as well. That's another role that they'll be doing, but also being able to hire and build your bench of caregivers. So going through the interviews for those, having somebody that is able and enjoys doing interviewing, an orientation process, managing the staff with schedules. This is just day to day of what they're doing, the schedules, if they have a vacation day, if there's a call off, and that takes a great amount of detail oriented and multitasking, because you can be, in an interview or getting ready for an assessment and somebody calls off. So being able to be organized to know who are the people in your organization that are caregivers that want to fill in for these days and times. And I just think that's just being organization is huge. And also having that person be able, like Debbie mentioned, to go out into the community, do marketing events, presentations, or in our independent, or in our senior communities, having little activities that they do and coming up with those. I know Donna just came up with this incredible idea for a March Madness event at one of our independent communities, and we are so excited. But having that creative thinking to do those things and setting ourselves apart is what we really want and we want to see.
Very good. Yeah. I think that there's predictors for success in that role, but then also, what kind of characteristics have you seen with pharmacy owners that could be a predictor for their success and their growth and their strategic growth?
Yeah. So what we're finding with pharmacy owners is they are the trusted person in their community. You have adult children or even, potential clients themselves that are coming into the pharmacy where they're becoming that one-stop shop where you're hearing, we hear this all the time, well, I'm picking up my mom's meds again because she forgot. Or, Mrs. Smith is my next door neighbor, but I'm really nervous because the adult children live out of town and I'm going to, Florida for 3 months. I don't know what she's going to do. So being that trusted person in the community sets them apart huge, where they can say, you know what, we have another business adventure that we've taken on, which is Happier at Home. We can help with that. And they're going to trust that pharmacy owner and that pharmacy staff to say, well, why would I go somewhere else? Happier at Home is here within ABC Pharmacy and they're great and they're always good to me. I'm going to go here because I know that they'll take good care of me and I trust them.
So those pharmacy owners are seeing the writing on the wall. They're seeing their potential customers walking into their retail pharmacy and I guess being forward thinking, right? And entrepreneurial. That's one thing that I love about our pharmacy franchisee owners, that they are extremely entrepreneurial. And just for myself too, I always thought, what's the worst that can happen? If I don't succeed, I don't succeed. However, I have to say, when we sign our new franchisees on, you and we hit the ground running with them. We're there with them, but we're on it quick. And we make sure that they're moving and they are the future of our community health because they're that hub. So I think that a lot of the pharmacy owners are understanding that and realizing it, and it's not just behind the desk anymore or behind their bench, that they're really a really very key, important part of their community and the healthcare system. Those doctors and transitional care units that need that safe discharge home or can treat them in one way and have some case managers perhaps in the doctor's office, but need that connection and that continuation of safe service and assistance to be able to keep their patients independent and in their homes as well.
Yeah. And with the forward thinking and the strategic mindset, and then looking at challenges that may lie ahead, and not only looking at those, but having the framework to overcome them and coming up with a plan is something that we look for and something that you want. So yeah, that's definitely integral to have that forward thinking mindset.
And as Todd is involved in so many different aspects of helping educate the pharmacy owners and bring new cutting edge information and technologies to them through all of our experts on the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I know this is one of those missing puzzle piece, as you said.
Well, I want to make a point because I I can't help but to think from a business development perspective. It's how I've been geared since I entered pharmacy in 2004. And I think of that for the pharmacy owner. So if I'm a pharmacy owner and I'm starting to invest in my Happier at Home franchise, and I start telling my community that these are new services that are assuring things like medication adherence because of the connection to a pharmacy that's already trusted, as you just said, Debbie. I think that this is an amazing proposal driven value add to me going to buckets of business, assisted nursing facilities, and taking over much of the service. If that organization has collapsed, there's so much of that churn and things happening in your community. Stuffing something in the bag of every single one of your patients that announces that we now have additional services to help the people that can't get out of their home, or your loved ones if they're nearby within whatever radius that you've drawn around, because I'm sure the team, Marie, knows exactly, hey, your sweet spot is the 2 mile or 5 mile or 10 mile radius, whatever that is. But I see this franchise not only being a way to embrace your existing patients, but I see it as a tool, because imagine you getting a new client that isn't using your pharmacy. And now you say, hey, in order to perfect this whole system, we're going to be doing a prescription transfer from, Walmart pharmacy, for example, to a community pharmacy, and saying, we're doing this on purpose because it will help us with better control, medication adherence, as well as some of that strip packaging that makes it easier to take dosing with our friends over at RX Safe. Like, there's this whole system that you have inserted yourself into, this ecosystem of pharmacy care and pharmacy services that extend way beyond just medication management.
Right. And it is a way for the pharmacy owners to increase their revenue through their pharmacy as well, not only by earning private pay or out of pocket revenue through the services you would provide with Happier at Home, but what we've seen is our community pharmacy owners increasing through Happier at Home, the home delivery, uh, immunization programs, things that they could do for people that are homebound. So it is very exciting in so many different ways that they're able to really help the community. And, I'll tell you, Marie and I, when we go to our new franchisees' grand opening and have a ribbon cutting, usually they have the Chamber of Commerce for each of those towns come in and run that for them, but they are bringing in a whole community, literally the business community, right into their retail pharmacy, having their ribbon cutting there. So increasing awareness for the services you provide there. And it's really exciting because so many of the ribbon cuttings that we've been to, we see how the community needs it and they need to have that trusted source. So I love being able, it's just exhilarating to see the value that they're bringing to those patients in their community, to the community itself, really helping to enrich people's lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Marie, when I think of what you see as the best foot forward when you get started with a new franchise, what kind of advice and suggestions do you have for community pharmacy owners who are listening in today?
My advice would be to definitely explore the option to be able to get into the community in another branch of business like Happier at Home. Make sure that you are asking all those questions, having conversations with Debbie, asking to speak to somebody or other, we even have pharmacy owners that speak to potential franchises that are in the discovery process, asking those questions, getting on a call with them to just hear what they have to say, how they thought the process went, and make sure that you're just doing your research. And really, I just think this is just a great opportunity for pharmacy owners to just have another another form of business for everybody in their community. Look at our websites, our social media. We have everything on there. Just it's been incredible.
It's
I
nice
always
to
say,
have.
I'm always like, oh, I wish we had a pharmacy, because you can, we talk about, you can recruit for your clients, you can market within your pharmacy, but a lot of our pharmacy locations, they find so many great caregivers to work for them. We're, like, oh, my daughter's home from college, or I'm a new stay-at-home mom. I'd love to be able to pick my hours. So not only can you build your business with your clients, but also your caregiving staff. It's incredible.
Work so well together, hand
It
in
does.
hand. Yep. It is
Think of
very exciting.
being embedded in the community, wanting what's best for your community. This is just another way of providing, employee opportunities and extending your team and extending your reputation. It's also, you and I have talked about this before, Debbie, but imagine approaching a source or a payer that it wants to contract with a community pharmacy in comparison to possibly outsourcing that business to one of the big chains or one of the big PBMs. If you have this as an additional service that you offer in your structured contracted proposals, this becomes, ammunition for you as a community pharmacy owner to say, hey, we could give 360-degree, you know, um, patient care services through our pharmacy today. There's no reason to outsource this to a non-community organization or someone that's part of the community, where the dollars that are coming into that community are literally going right back into the community in the form of investment into new employees and rinse and repeat, because you will also have pharmacy owners who are looking at the next territory that they'd like to expand into, which can go along with how many pharmacies they have. Which we said, you just returned from the NCPA multi-site conference, and all of those pharmacy owners have multiple territories with multiple community pharmacies. This fits so nicely into those models.
It does. I've seen that we do have franchisees that have multiple locations now. And I know for one in particular, that's his strategy. Going to start with one location, move on to the next location, adding another Happier at Home. Our franchisee in New York State started out with one Happier at Home location, has added two more since. So he has 3 locations of Happier at Home. So he keeps on scaling and growing. So it is it's a kind of, as long as you go along with the process, it's plug and play. And we teach you how to do that. And it's a very important thing to work closely with Marie as you get started, because we really want you to hit the ground running like we do. And I think that because I've been in business so long, as Marie said, early on, I made whatever mistakes I had to make to learn, because I didn't have that structure, that framework for the business. I started it from ground up. So I made the mistakes of spending money when I didn't need to spend money. It probably, I think if you're thinking about doing this on your own, you're going to be behind 3 years. It will take you 3 years to get to the point that we could get you up and running immediately in the beginning.
This is a cool model. I've right from the beginning and meeting you day one, Debbie, I knew this was going to work, just with the personalities of how much our community pharmacy owners care about their communities and what this means for assuring that people that are shut in or they can't get out of their home are going to get the care that they need, and in turn building your business to once again hire more potential employees for this franchise model. I think it's an amazing insertion into the community, and I think there are communities out there that actually need this very badly in their community, that they're not getting those kind of personalized services that the community pharmacy delivers in a very special way. So, Maria, welcome to Happier at Home PRN. We hope that you're going to come back to this amazing podcast, and thank you so much for being influential in the growth of community pharmacy. You have our full support. We're heroes of, our heroes are our community pharmacy owners, and now, of course, Debbie and yourself. So I very much thank you, Marie.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I love you both.
Me too.
All right, we'll see you. We'll see you at NCPA 2023 in October. Where's that taking place, Debbie? Do you know?
That is, I believe, in Orlando.
Orlando. I hope so.
Yes.
I love going to Florida. So if
I know, me
you
too.
want to engage with Debbie and Marie and the team, do not wait, because her schedule, your schedule, is going to be filling up quickly. Get on their schedule to talk with them about launching your franchise. You don't have to wait, by the way, for the NCPA. Reach out to them. If you can't find their information, which it will be in the show notes, please reach out to Pharmacy Podcast Network. We have their information. We work alongside with them to get you in touch. But Debbie, thank you so much for being part of our PPN family. And Marie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you too. Thanks, Todd.